Hey everybody, it's me, Chris again. Told you I'd be back, and here I am. This topic, um, that I want to talk about is it's a tough one for me. Um, Growing up as a gay teen, I had a lot of, I don't know, fear and stuff like that. But basically, the topic I want to talk about today is suicide and suicidal thoughts and depression. Growing up as a teenager, gay. I had numerous thoughts of suicide, uh, mainly because people are, I guess you could say, trained to see gays as wrong or not accepted anywhere and stuff like that. And so, uh, growing up, it was really hard for me. Um, just, I mean, there would be good days, of course, but I mean, there was always really bad days. I would just think about walking straight into traffic and stuff like that, and it was it was getting to the point where it was horrible. Um, like I mean, any thoughts on suicide is horrible, but it was to the point where I felt that I had nothing else to live for, um, and I felt that if text message, anyways, get that later. I felt that if I wasn't accepted on this earth, maybe the afterlife would accept me and stuff like that. But I don't know. There was just numerous things like that that would race through my mind and stuff like that. And even in schools, the heck is wrong with that channel? Weird. Anyways, even in schools, there would be teachers or substitute teachers and stuff like that that were against gays. And I mean, you're in a public place. Yeah, you can think that all you want, but don't act on it. Don't say stuff about it. Um, it wasn't till high school that they really enforced um, being acceptance of gays and stuff like that. When I was in high school, it is. Uh, but it was just day in and day out. I mean, I don't know how many nights I spent listening to my iPod just crying because of these thoughts and stuff. And honestly, I couldn't imagine how or why I was thinking these things. Um, I I tried so many different things like uh, Christianity and just all sorts of stuff, trying to read up and find out, of ways to get help. Um, the weird thing about it is help actually came and found me, I guess you can say. I was in a teen studies, I believe from like I think it was like 2004 when I started, maybe 2005. Um, until well now I'm still technically in it. Uh, but they uh, they called me up one day asking if me and my mom wanted to come do this teen study thing for Kaiser, and it was about depression and suicide and stuff like that. And I felt that this was a good way to try and get some help with it or whatever. And so I agreed to go in. I mean, even just to check it out. And so I let's shut that off because that's really getting distracting right now. I can't talk to you guys with that. Sorry. Um, so I felt that I'd give it a shot, and if worse came to worse, I just wouldn't go back. So the first few times we went twice a week when we first started, and that lasted, I want to say, almost 2 months. And sorry, I don't know where to be looking at this thing. I went twice a week for about 2 months, and me and a bunch of other teenagers and stuff like that, that I guess had the same problems I did, got together and we did these different activities, just to, share and talk about depression and suicide and stuff like that. The parents, I'm not sure exactly what they were doing. I think they had meetings too or whatever, to talk about their stuff. Basically, like the thing that really I wish I would have done different is I lied to them. Um, I told them I didn't have any thoughts on suicide. I didn't have. I mean, I told them I had depression, and they knew that. But the thoughts on suicide, I didn't really tell anybody about. Um, that kind of stuff. It was it was bad. And then um, January, I think, I they called me in for a meeting, just to, kind of catch up and see how we're doing. By the way, they this study or whatever they did helped them publish a book to help, teenagers and stuff like that. So I guess I still did good because that shows that there's teenagers out there that are scared to seek out and get help and just let people know. But I told them in January that I have had thoughts of suicide and that I basically lied to them. I felt really bad, but I just explained to them that I was afraid of letting them know because I don't know, just how people react and stuff like that on that topic, along with being gay, was really tough. Um, Basically, the worst thing that happened though was I did the mistake of telling a friend that I had prior. Um, this was what, 11th grade, I think, that I had suicidal thoughts in the past, and he thought that I meant that I had suicidal thoughts now, which amazingly I don't. I think the coming out kind of helped me with that, but I told him because it was just a weird topic. I mean, he brought it up, and I told him that I had it in the past. I thought about taking my own life in the past, and this was in the middle of me coming out in 11th grade, and it was kind of tough. They basically I was chatting with them over an instant messenger, and it was just weeks before this. It was just in and out of what's wrong, you're acting different kind of stuff. And at that time, I was happier. I was working out a lot more, trying to get into shape, and I felt great. I mean, I've never felt like that ever, basically. And it was just, what's wrong? And I got sick of the questions because it was always, you're acting different, what's wrong? You're acting strange and stuff like that. So after them asking me 5 times within an hour of me talking to them on an instant messenger, I just said, all right, if they see something wrong with me, I'm gonna mess with them. And that was a big mistake on my part. I ended up just like typing some weird stuff, saying that I had another person in my body, and saying that they, oh, sorry, saying that his name, I think it was Frank, is what I called him, or something like that. Just a joke, trying to scare him. Not thinking too far ahead of the consequences. And I posted some lyrics of a song that I like on there, and that freaked him out even more. And the next day at school, I go up, and they're all like, I didn't see them in the morning, which is weird because we always hang out in the mornings. And I was like, okay, that's a little weird. Maybe they're off doing something. So I just went to class and didn't think anything of it. Lunchtime we always hang out too, and so at lunch, we were hanging out, and they seemed fine. They were cool about it. Just never really talked about the prior day or anything like that. And I was all chatting with them. It was one of the kids' birthday that day too, and so I told them happy birthday and blah blah blah, this and that and the other thing. Just normal stuff. Uh, Later that night, after I got home, the school called, saying that I was suspended for school, or suspended from school, I'm sorry, for time being until they figured this thing out, saying that I had suicidal thoughts, which I mean was true for the past, but they they didn't even want to hear my side of the story. They said I was a threat to myself and to other children at the school. Um, and so basically from that day I got suspended and I wasn't allowed to come back. About 2 days later, and when I was suspended, I fell very ill because I mean I was just so scared. Um, I think that's the first time I had a panic attack, which by the way those things suck ass. Um, I went back 2 days later. The counselor there gave me a psych evaluation just to make sure I was okay, and he gave me the psych evaluation and blah blah blah. I passed it like with flying colors is basically what he said. Um, I told him that I was upset that they didn't hear my side of the story before they just jumped on conclusion, and they said okay, I was free to go back to school. Um, that day, I was still very ill. I didn't know if what was gonna happen. I was just worried about getting back into school, so I decided to take the rest of that day off because I was throwing up that day prior because of the whole incident and had panic attacks constantly. Another mistake right there made by yours truly. I should have went back to school that day, but I didn't. I went home sick, and the counselor that gave me the psych evaluation went and talked with the other counselors and the principal, and I guess they felt it was in their best interest to lie and say they never gave me a psych evaluation and that I was still a threat and I was not allowed to come back to school. So later that night, they called back up and said I was expelled. So that just effed my day up even worse because I got all this hype back up of all right, cool, I get back into school. I love school. I don't hate school. I love it honestly. And I'm just so happy, and I'm finally gonna eat within what basically a 2 day period, and I get some food down, and I'm able to keep it down, and that's what's cool about it. And about 6 o'clock, I think, that afternoon, they call back and say that I am permanently expelled. My dad actually asked the counselor he was talking to, what happened to the psych evaluation that we came in and took today, and he basically straight up told him over the phone, I never gave your son a psych evaluation. I don't know what you're talking about, kind of thing. And so basically I was screwed over on that. Took me about 2 months to get back into school. Thank God I was able to get back into school. I was in a program that if I wasn't in this program, I would have been just expelled, and they wouldn't have had to do anything. But because I was in this program, um, the school actually had to provide me with a tutor to keep my classes and grades and shit up, so which was cool. Um, I did all that for 2 months. Finally got back into school. The day I got back into school, I guess they basically warned everybody um, that I was coming back. I don't know, they're freaking stupid. But I get back to school, I get off my bus, and there's my three friends that took this note from a home to home thing to the school and brought it to school. And so they they were there waiting for me to get off the bus and just so happy and just hey, welcome back, Chris, kind of thing. And I did the best thing I could, and I just walked straight past them, didn't do anything. Basically, I didn't say much the rest of that year to anybody. It was just class to class, and then stay after school to try and get my grades back up. And that was